taking longer than I thought. There's 3 more: throat, crown, third eye and crown. So throat chakra is corresponding to sound. It's our center of self-expression. So important. How many of you have felt like when you have to tell somebody something about what's bothering you, you get this lump in your throat and all of a sudden you can't say anything? That is your throat chakra just sort of like constricting and saying, it's not what I want to do right now. But it's so important to learn to express your higher self, learn to be vulnerable, learn to be authentic. And many of us have thyroid issues in this modern day, and so part of that is also nurturing our thyroid, our hormones, and then practicing a barometer for how you're communicating. Yeah, right? And yet, part of it is facing that fear and saying it anyway. Hopefully, as we have nurtured all our chakras coming up to the throat chakra, we're now sensitive enough that we're not just going to use our throat to scold people all the time, to tell people off, to speak our truth, so to speak, in a way that offends people. There is, again, a fine line between speaking our truth, being honest, and being authentic and vulnerable. An overexpression of it could be really just being very adamant about, this is me, this is how I am, take it or leave it, I don't agree with you, let's agree to disagree, I want to tell you how much I dislike you, I want to tell you how much you bother me. Wow, I embodied that really well. Or coming from really sensitive to how you communicate with people. You communicate with people by telling them what you know, and what you know is only your own feelings, okay? So you have to be very specific. Let's say your husband or partner likes to leave their dirty underwear all over the room, and it's really getting you really upset every single day. And if you don't speak up about it, you are going to blow up one day on something totally unrelated. It's like the straw that broke the camel's back. Or you're just going to have a very civil conversation and say, when you leave your underwear around the room, it makes me feel very cluttered, or my mind cluttered, or whatever it is, right? You want to be able to express that and ask in a nice way, can you just please pick it up? So the idea is to be very specific. If you say something like, I am so upset because you're just so messy, and then you go off on this tirade, but you never actually say what it is you want that person to do, or that what it is that really is bothering you, and in a nice, calm way, it doesn't get you anywhere. So nurturing our throat chakra is so much more than just speaking our truth, right? Okay, so ask yourself, do I tell white lies? Many times people say, well, white lies is okay, I just didn't want to get into a conversation. Now, this is what my mom taught me. Don't ever get into an argument. Just tell white lies if you need to. Just walk away. In some ways, of course, yes, walking away, taking a deep breath, not yelling, right? But you know, if you do it a lot, then examine why it is you do it, because there's usually a root cause. Do I talk too much? So when I give these, I don't know, lectures or whatever, I feel like I talk too much. But balancing the throat chakra is all about rhythm of listening and speaking. Don't you get annoyed at people that interrupt you all the time and they don't allow you to speak? And And imagine how you feel when someone is there just being present and listening. Not listening for the sake of telling you something about themselves or telling you their idea of how you should do it, but just listening, right? So part of it is, don't always feel like when someone speaks to you that they are asking you for a solution. They just, most people just need space, a nice space to regurgitate what they need, right? Do I listen when friends are talking? Do I interrupt? Is gossip part of my daily life? Do I have a good sense of timing and rhythm? How about those that you're trying to talk to them on the phone and every time you speak, they speak, every time they speak, you speak, and you have to say, okay, go ahead. No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. Oh, yeah. So finding that rhythm is very much about cultivating our awareness, our intuition, and that's what we're going to get today. And am I afraid to tell the truth? Okay, all these questions, ask yourself. And so affirmations. I bravely speak my truth. I acknowledge and voice my emotions with ease at the right time. I respect others' opinions and listen without interruption. I practice connecting to and voicing what my higher self needs. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's @LeanneAnderson. But I've been really committed to putting thoughts on it as a pattern after my personal pictures. So some of those thoughts that I remember now, one of them said, practice asking for what you need. So many of us don't. And when you don't ask for what you need, it creates this communication gap that actually gets worse if you don't actually say it up front. And what I mean by that is, how about those people that may take 2 weeks to get back to you on something, and their life is so full that they really cannot give you the time that you want, and yet if they were silent and only got back to you 2 weeks later, you would be totally seething and angry and like, why am I not important to them? But if they had said 2 weeks ago and said, I need 2 weeks to get back to you, please give me the time, you would have been so happy and said, of course, sure. And 2 weeks later, when they come back, you're going to be like, oh, great, now you're back. I'm happy. So different, right? In both cases, that person got 2 weeks. But in the first place, they didn't communicate what they needed. And then someone got angry at them. And in the second place, they did, and it was all good. So practice asking for what you need, even if it's you're running late for a meeting, you're going to be 10 minutes late, tell them. Because you are going to be 10 minutes late and you don't want to show up and say, I'm sorry. You want to say, I'm going to be 10 minutes late, and you show up and they'll say, oh, all good. I'm glad you told me because I got some work done. Okay? So, last one, affirmation, I am heard. How many times do we feel so small because we think no one hears us? Because we are maybe in a relationship with someone who interrupts us all the time, shuts us down, so we stop speaking. We stop speaking, and then we are not balanced. It just starts, everything starts to go bad. Anyway, I am heard. There is someone out there who wants to listen to you. Okay? Okay. Oils. Believe. So important to believe in your own importance. We want to hear you. Every single one of us has this unique purpose. And if you don't tell us what it is, if you don't speak up, then the world doesn't get to hear it. Okay? Now, speaking, writing, it's all kind of the same thing. Singing, chanting is a great way of practicing using your voice. You know, why do religious places have singing all the time? Because it really accesses that emotional, spiritual part of us, and we get that vibration, that frequency really aligns with a harmony. Okay, So find a song you love. There's so many songs that can soothe different types of needs, whether it's loneliness, sadness, whatever. Happy songs, sad songs, it really helps us to release those emotions. Anyway, but believe is about us. I got a thing, I gotta go. It says 1 hour and 17 minutes. Okay, believe, valor, courage to speak. Put on some valor before you have a difficult conversation. Purification. If you gossip a lot, if you are speaking bad of other people, if part of what nurtures you is seeing other people fail, then let's take a step back. Let's try to purify our intentions, our thoughts, the way we speak, because how we roll here is our own, other people's success is not our failure, and other people's failure is not to be used for us to feel better. Okay? Purification. And rosemary. Just very simply, rosemary helps our brain to function, our memory, and so just being a part of the throat and the back of the neck, it just helps us to really know what it is we're saying all the time. You know how some people get into this like, oh, lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was going to say, so that helps. All right, so asanas. Gentle neck rolls is good, just rolling it around. We forget how heavy our head is, and there's so many muscles here. We just want to nurture it all. There's this chanting you can do, just go hum, that nurtures our throat. You can sing, you find a favorite song, sing it all the time, sing, sing, sing. Bridge, you know, when you go on your back and doing this, but you're practicing just creating this space in your throat. And plow, shoulder stand. Shoulder stand is really, really good for your thyroid and just your throat in general. But you want to do that with props. You want to read up on it, go to or ask your yoga teacher and do it well. Practicing yoga, shoulder stand every single day is really good for your thyroid. Okay, third eye.